Donald Trump's children have been rumor magnets for most of their lives. That's even more true since their dad twice won the highest office in the land. But some rumors about Donald's youngest, Barron Trump, are particularly weird and have a strange staying power. Some people just can't let go of the notion that former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is Barron's real father. Yes, there are people who actually believe that Trudeau had an affair with Melania Trump nearly 20 years ago, and that led to Barron's birth. In a post on X that has amassed nearly 40,000 views as of the making of this video, one user wrote alongside photos they tout as evidence, "Take a look at these photos of Melania Trump getting personal with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Trudeau close-up, and Barron Trump. Now try to convince me that Barron is actually Donald's kid."
I have a very tall son named Barron. Has anyone ever heard of him?
On Reddit, users seem to be having even more fun playing into the outlandish theory. One Redditor wrote, referencing the canceled soap opera As the World Turns, "Wow, take that, Donnie. Is that why Sophie left Justin?" Stay tuned for another episode of As the World Burns. Trudeau and his wife Sophie announced they were separating in August 2023. For a better understanding of how public figures might handle such salacious rumors, Nicki Swift reached out to Amy Prenner, a communications executive and founder of the Prenner Group. She said, "These kinds of wild rumors, like the one about Melania Trump and Justin Trudeau, are unfortunately just part of the territory for anyone in the public eye." Prenner added that social media has only made the likelihood of an off-the-wall rumor gaining traction that much higher. It can spread like wildfire in minutes. Prenner advised that the best approach for most public figures is simply to ignore the rumor altogether. She said, "Responding can sometimes make things worse by giving the rumor more oxygen. However, if the story starts to gain real traction, say it's picked up by major news outlets or it starts to affect someone's personal or professional life, then it might be time to step in with a clear, brief denial. If the rumor is causing the figure personal harm or legal trouble, a slightly firmer denial may be necessary. That said, Prenner notes that a lot of rumors tend to blow over." She said, "The public has a short attention span, and there's always another story around the corner." Melania and Justin didn't run in the same circles until Donald Trump became president. There's no evidence they had even met when Barron was born in 2006. So the Trumps and Trudeau are likely better off just waiting for this bizarre speculation to die. Barron Trump is breaking the Trump family mold by attending NYU, but online rumors suggest the first son may not have had much of a choice in the matter. After months of speculation, Donald revealed Barron's choice of college in the fall of 2024.
He's always been a very good student. He's smart. I want all A's.
Okay.
Okay, all A's.
Barron's decision to attend New York University was surprising to many, given the Trump family's history. Everyone from the Donald himself down to his fourth child, Tiffany, attended either the University of Pennsylvania or Georgetown. Barron is the first to stray from the beaten path. However, many believe Barron may not have had that many options to choose from, particularly of the Ivy League variety. According to unsubstantiated online rumors, Barron was allegedly rejected by 3 big-name schools: Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Columbia University in New York City, and Stanford University in California. While the president never specified which universities his youngest son considered attending before settling on NYU, he boasted about the array of choices Barron had. He told the Daily Mail in September 2024, "He was accepted to a lot of colleges, he's a very smart guy, and he'll be going to Stern, the business school, which is a great school at NYU."
He's now going to college, got into every college he wanted to.
Previously, Donald had revealed that Barron considered staying in line with family tradition and attending University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business.
We're thinking about that right now.
Donald and Melania never revealed why Barron chose NYU, but it has been speculated that his mother preferred him to be in New York, though she denied it.
It was his decision to come here, that he wants to be in New York and study in New York and live in his home.
But many believe there's more to the story. Speaking to the president in September 2023, Megyn Kelly suggested that Barron would likely have a hard time choosing a college, considering the political climate.
How do you choose one? Because they all hate all Republicans, never mind one named Trump.
For many, Kelly had a good point. After Donald froze billions in federal grants to Harvard between April and May 2025, observers speculated whether his motivation was personal. Rhode Island Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse even posted on X, "Can't help but wonder how many Trumps got rejected by Harvard." Donald similarly cut funds to Columbia, claiming it had allowed anti-Semitism to proliferate on campus. Unlike Harvard, the New York institution acquiesced to some of the administration's demands in order to have its federal funding restored. The president also opened investigations into Stanford and other California universities' admission policies, further amplifying suspicions he may have been pursuing a vendetta against them. One Facebook user claimed, without evidence, "Guess what colleges didn't accept Barron Trump? Harvard, Stanford, Columbia. Any college Trump is attacking are the ones that, with all of his money, they said no endowment will let Barron in." The fact-checking site Snopes, however, was unable to verify online claims like this one that Barron was rejected by Harvard, Columbia, or Stanford. None of the schools responded to inquiries, and there's no proof online that Trump's youngest was ever rejected by these schools.
Did first kid Barron Trump really get rejected by Harvard? Rumor mongers online give it the old college try, but Barron's mama, Melania, has now set the record straight. In case you missed it, a theory spread online in recent weeks claiming that Barron Trump, currently towering above his classmates at NYU, got denied admission to the prestigious Harvard University. And that rejection angered his daddy Donald, who subsequently cut funding to the oldest institute of higher education in the US. But it turns out that's all just telling tales out of school. Melania Trump, via her spokesperson, finally made a statement which just might slow down the rumor mill a bit. The statement from the First Lady's communications director to People magazine reads simply, "Barron did not apply to Harvard, and any assertion that he or that anyone on his behalf applied is completely false." So there you have it. Not only did Harvard not reject Barron, he didn't even apply to the school in the first place. So why did so many people online think the smart money was on Donald sticking it to Harvard over the supposed slight? In all fairness, it sure does seem like President Trump has it out for the vaunted Ivy League university. On May 27th, his administration signaled that they were going to cancel the federal government's remaining contracts with the school, worth $100 million. That's on top of the $3.2 billion in grants and contracts Trump already froze. And then there's Trump's plan to halt Harvard from admitting international students altogether. This all comes after Harvard refused to comply with Trump's demands in mid-April, which took aim at diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, also known as DEI. Trump's attempts to rule the school have unsurprisingly triggered legal action, with Harvard suing the administration. And it also inspired a whole lot of fan fiction about Trump's youngest getting denied admission to the elite Cambridge campus, among other schools. According to online chatter now partially debunked by Melania, Barron was rejected by 3 big names: Harvard, Columbia University in New York City, and Stanford University in California. While President Trump never specified which universities Barron considered attending before settling on NYU, he boasted about the buffet of choices Barron had before him. Barron's decision to attend NYU was surprising, given the Trump's family history of either attending the University of Pennsylvania or Georgetown. Donald and Melania never revealed why exactly Barron chose NYU, but one school of thought is that his mother preferred that he stayed in New York, a claim she's denied.
It was his decision to come here, that he wants to be in New York and study in New York and live in his home.
Barron completed his first semester this spring with his Secret Service detail in tow, of course, which had his fellow students talking.
Are you worried about Secret Service and everything being on campus?
Worried? No. Excited and intrigued.
That's too federal for me.
It's worth noting that Melania did not say anything about the big man on campus applying to Columbia or Stanford, or getting rejected from those schools, and they're also on Donald's radar these days. So until this all cools down, expect more rumors about Barron getting slighted and Donald getting his revenge. Neat little stories that, without evidence, wouldn't make the grade at any institution, Ivy League or otherwise.
Barron Trump's relationship with his older siblings is hard to gauge, considering Melania Trump has kept her son out of the public eye. But glimpses of the interactions between Donald Trump's children at public events suggest Barron is pretty close with Tiffany Trump. Tiffany's social media tributes to Barron also bolster that theory. That's not to say he has no relationship with Donald Jr., Ivanka, and Eric Trump, who've all risen to Barron's defense at times.
This is his television debut.
Oh, he's adorable.
While 24 years older than her little brother, Ivanka seems to encourage Barron to bond with her children. At their father's inauguration, she prompted her infant son, Theodore, to interact with Barron. While Barron received some online hate from some who found his attempts to engage with his nephew awkward, his older sister defended him, tweeting, "My youngest brother proves he's a baby whisperer." In 2018, when actor Peter Fonda suggested Barron should be taken from his parents in response to the president's family separation policy, Donald Jr. leapt to Barron's defense, tweeting, "Rather than attack an 11-year-old like a bully and a coward, why don't you pick on someone a bit bigger?" While Eric's relationship with Barron is less clear, he has stood up for his younger siblings in the face of media criticism, telling Westchester, "We are adults, we've developed a bit of armor, but Barron and Tiffany should be 100% off limits." Of all the Trump children, Tiffany is closest in age to Barron Trump. Born on October 13, 1993, she was 12 when her brother was born on March 20, 2006. While that's still a considerable age gap, Barron appears to have developed a deeper bond with Tiffany than with his older siblings. And Tiffany isn't afraid to show Barron affection. In celebration of Barron's 13th birthday that year, Tiffany took to Instagram to share a picture of the two of them from the Republican National Convention that showed the two of them smiling and interacting together. The following year, she uploaded family photos to mark Barron's birthday, writing, "Happy 14th birthday to the best little brother I could ever ask for. You mean so much to me, Barron. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Love you." According to Adrienne Carter, a body language expert known as the Face Whisperer, the pictures suggest a positive relationship between brother and sister. She told the list, "Both photos showed genuine smiles of enjoyment from Barron, so he is very happy to be sharing these occasions with Tiffany." And according to Carter, the same was true for Tiffany. She explained, "Tiffany's body language in the 13th birthday photo is angled towards Barron, showing she's fully engaged in their interaction." When Donald Trump transitioned from TV personality to politician, Ivanka, Eric, and Donald Jr. were heavily involved in the campaign and even in his administration, with Ivanka serving as a senior advisor along with her husband, Jared Kushner. Tiffany and Barron, on the other hand, remained on the sidelines. This relative anonymity allowed the youngest Trumps to lead a more normal life while their older siblings were scrutinized. That September, both managed to start the school year without much fanfare.
"I have to go to school now."
And the fact that Tiffany was going to school in Washington, D.C. arguably allowed the two to become closer. According to the South China Morning Post, Tiffany visited Barron frequently at the White House when she was at Georgetown Law, suggesting they have a relationship beyond their father's public events. But the scenario will likely change. As he grew older, Barron had everyone obsessed with his personal life. From his growth spurt and future college choice to his deepening voice, Barron has been making headlines left and right. It's still unclear if he'll follow in his older siblings' footsteps and become involved in the family business, or if he'll choose a more reserved life like Tiffany. What this will mean for Barron and Tiffany's relationship also remains to be seen. An apparent rift between Donald Trump and his youngest son Barron isn't over politics, business, or some personal slight. No, the tale of the tape is the seeming problem between this father and son pair. The president is no stranger to feuding. He has a well-documented history of changing allegiances on a dime, a lesson that his former allies turned enemies have learned the hard way. Still, Donald's children have always managed to stay out of his crosshairs, until now. Proving that there's room for only one Trump tower in his life, Donald is allegedly feuding with his youngest son, Barron Trump, over his height of all things. Donald's relationship with his daughter Ivanka Trump and sons Donald Jr. and Eric Trump is tight. The three are all involved in the family business, and they were by their father's side during his presidential campaign and term in office. However, less is known about Barron and Donald's relationship. The teenager largely stayed out of the spotlight during Donald's time in the White House. He has also kept out of the media glare since the family relocated to Mar-a-Lago. However, there's no mystery about Barron's relationship with his mom, Melania Trump. The former model clearly adores her only son, and they have an extremely close bond. According to People, Melania is so focused on Barron that she has no time for making friends and socializing. A source told the magazine, "She is a doting mother to Barron and very protective of him. Barron has always been a first priority in Melania's life." That would mean Donald is, at best, number 2. Donald's hatred for being put in the shade has reportedly spilled over into his family life. In Siege, Trump Under Fire, author Michael Wolff claims that in addition to having a strained relationship with Barron, Donald's also resentful of his height. Wolff suggests that the disgruntled dad is so insecure about Barron eclipsing him that he refuses to be pictured next to him. During an appearance on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, Wolff explained that Donald is
jealous of everyone's height. He never lets himself be in a photograph with someone taller than he is.
Height is clearly a very touchy subject for the Donald, and just how tall he actually is unclear. The Washington Post reports that when he was arrested after arriving at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta in August, the measurements he gave on his booking record raised more than a few eyebrows. Donald claimed that he's 6 feet 3 inches tall and weighs 215 pounds, placing him in the same ballpark as Tom Brady, who's 6 feet 4 inches and 225 pounds. The Post notes that Donald's last White House physical listed him as being 25 pounds heavier at 240 pounds. Meanwhile, the president has seemingly grown an inch taller since 2012. Politico obtained a copy of Donald's driver's license, which states he's 6 feet 2 inches tall. Even with the discrepancies, if Donald feels overshadowed by his youngest, he's not letting on. In an interview with Megyn Kelly, Donald claimed that he and Barron actually get on very well and then boasted about his height, all while possibly adding an extra inch.
Barron's a very good athlete. He's very tall,
He is tall. How tall is he?
about 6'8".
Trump's love of playing fast and loose with height and weight stats hasn't gone unnoticed. Joe Scarborough made digs at Donald on his MSNBC show Morning Joe.
I've stood next to him many times. I'm about 6'4". Maybe he's 6'1", maybe he's 6'1.5", 6'2". He's a good bit shorter.
Scarborough said Donald's staff reporting his height at 6'3" was like his own staff saying he looked like Robert Redford in 1974. Being a target for jabs over his height and weight hasn't stopped Donald from scorning others. In 2020, he took aim at former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, referring to him as Mini Mike Bloomberg in a post to X, formerly known as Twitter. Donald's stature obsession runs so deep that he's been accused of weaponizing height. The Washington Post notes that he repeatedly disparages adversaries by using height-related nicknames. The paper lists Little Marco to refer to Senator Marco Rubio, Little Katie for reporter Katie Tur, Little Rocket Man in reference to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and Little Adam Schiff as examples.